It's live stream time. Live stream time. Oh, live stream time. We are here on live stream time. Yeah. We're kicking it off today. I got some wonderful things to show you with the plants. I got some fun things to talk about some tea and other wonderful things as my friends and wonderful people out there show up. Come to the channel, here, right here. Well, virtually here. Hey, still got a few minutes. Good to see you. Husky and Wolf Dog, first one in the comments. Good job, man. All right. So, how are we doing today, Husky and Wolf Dog? Pretty good. Having a good one. Getting ready to take the old hounds out. Yep. Very good. Alrighty. Oh, that's Dave. Keep that here. I'm trying this on my old computer today, so hopefully it works all right. I plugged in my sexy mic, so hopefully it sounds good. Does it sound good? Is it all right? Nice sexy sound today. I hope so. The camera looks okay considering this is like my super old like 2008 laptop, so I'm quite happy how good it looks at the moment. So I'm not gonna wait around here. We'll just get started, and as people come in, they'll be able to pick it up and see what's going on here. So I wanted to start today off with talking about actually, I was going to talk about my aloe vera first. That's what's on my this is the things I'm going to talk about today list. And I think it's just because it's so big and they don't quite realize it, and that the aloe vera, people keep knocking that sucker over. And I don't know who did it this time, but it was kind of fortuitous because this has been long overdue. But after they knocked it over, I finally decided to pull the keiki off and repotted that into a separate pot. So now I have 2 aloe veras out there, brand new repotted. And since I don't have any like sand or other things along those lines or gravel, I ended up using a little extra diatomous earth in there and a little bit extra of the perlite in there because I know they like a sandier, loamier soil. And I just made do with what I had on hand since it had been spilled and I had to repot the sucker. So glad to hear you guys are doing good. And that was my aloe vera is, yeah, so now I have one little aloe vera and one very large aloe vera, and I harvested a couple of the big old leaves, so hopefully they won't knock it over as easy now since there are not as many stems popping out. But speaking of long stems, that brings me right into my next big one. What? Look at that. You can't even fit it on the screen. It's that big. Huh? Yeah. Here's Amy the Amaryllis. Look at that. There's 6 leaves. The leaves are, look how tall that is. That's going all the way down to the middle of my chest up to the top of my head. Monster Amaryllis. Yeah, this is exactly what I expect to have happen with her right now this time of the year. And it gets to this length where my wife starts going, "Are you going to cut it back?" And it's like, no, it needs to stay and gather energy. That's what these are for. It must gather lots and lots of energy here. And when they start turning yellow, I usually wait until it's gotten quite yellow before I cut it all off here. So hello, Jolie, and hello, Geeky Gardens. Good to see you guys. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to that chat. And it's an herb-tastic, amaryllis-tastic kind of day. And I'm just showing off Amy here and how she has definitely survived after her earlier problems of me pulling her out of the darkness a little bit too late. But that's just a brilliant thing about plants is they're so resilient and they can come back and do fantastic like this, even though they may have not been given the best care. So yeah, I'm very happy with how Amy's doing here. And I don't know if any of you guys have an amaryllis or anything, but I also have an amaryllis video um, about how to get it to regrow year after year and get you flowers. And it did. My process does work, and it still got a flower this year. And that was not the problem. The problem was that I ended up waiting a little bit too long. In case you didn't see the last time I talked about this, and what happened was I left it in the dark, and I have a timer that I set to go check it, and the timer had gone off, and I forgot to check it, and then it was one of those things where you're like, oh, let me go look. Oh, I got to do this first. Oh, and you forget about it. Let me go look. Forget about it. Forget about it. Next thing you know, it's in a couple extra weeks, and you go and find it. You're like, oh, it's been a little too long now. Oops. So yeah, but after all that, it still got its flowers. I mean, they were a little bit misshapen, but she's since then has thrived, and I'm sure next year is going to give me some huge blooms once again. So Amy, woohoo, looking fabulous. Yeah. All right, that's Amy. Now, if any of you guys saw the last live stream from last week, you'll know Ollie, my big orchid with the white flowers, was starting to lose the flowers. And here's what's quickly happened in just 1 week. You're going to be surprised. You ready? It's down to 1 flower already. Boom, all those flowers he had, there was like 5 or 6 of them last week, and they've all come off except for this guy. And this is actually very traditionally true for what Ollie does. He does this every year pretty much, where he's like, I'm going to grow all these flowers, and then maybe another month later, I'm going to grow 1 more flower out, and then that flower will stick around for an extra couple weeks just by itself. Before he actually loses the stem. But part of the reason that's all happening, and you remember he lost a leaf as well, but the reason for that is he's got another leaf coming in already. You can see that in there. Brand new leaf coming in. Oop, could try and get you nice and close. There you go. See that? Boom. So that's why the other leaf had to fall off. And just like I said last week, I said I would wait until it fell off, and it wasn't, but I don't think it was even 24 hours until I checked it, and it just fell right off. No problem. So yeah, that's my methodology when they have the yellowing leaves, is just wait a little extra longer, won't take too long, and let the leaf fall off by itself. And next thing you know, new leaves will be coming out. Everything will be marvelous. Ha. Yes, so Ollie, doing splendid. Roots are looking good. Not too dry in there, is he? So like usually I'll check at like this point of the week and see if he's getting too dry. And what I've started doing, especially when it's really hot like this, is I'll give him some spritz out here on the roots to give them just a little bit of extra humidity, a little extra water, because they can dry out a little bit faster when it's super hot like it has been this summer. So let's set him over here in a safe place. And guess who's next? Next thing is talking about, the next thing I wanted to talk about was some herb flowering. So this is my cilantro, and you'll see right there on the end, once it stops bouncing around, is some flowers coming out. Oh, thanks for stopping by. Hopefully it's not too bad, brainstorm makers, and everything will be all right. I know I have those problems sometimes when the internet just comes out jerky. So, but here we are. We are talking about my cilantro / coriander. Wah! See ya, Husky and Wolf Dog. Have a nice walk. Enjoy the outside. Wah! And Love Surf Bunny is still here. Good to have you here. Oh, yeah. But you can see how monster big this is right now. They're very long, and I need to harvest some more of this so he can keep growing. Because even when they have flowers like this, you can actually cut them back. You can see down here there are still some places where he's got some growth coming out that I could cut it back, and he probably will grow a little bit more. It won't be as good if I had cut it back a little bit earlier, but that's fine because he's still got lots of stems I can still cut off. But usually when you get to this flowering point, you can do some cutting back and try and let him grow some more. But it's usually best to either um, have a backup all ready to go and plant another one to get going if you want to just have a constant cycle of this particular herb, or what you want to do is go ahead and just cut him back and repot him, and then everything will be good. Don't taste good though. Hum nom 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 nom. Yeah, even when they're a little yellow like this, they can still taste a little bit good. He's just been getting just a little bit too much light in some of these, because I don't get a lot of direct light, but the building across from us is very white, and it gives us this heavy reflective light, which is just like having bright light on them, for like 5 hours a day. So Geeky, your cilantro bolted a couple months ago. Huh? Wow, that was fast. And yeah, you can still replant some. I'm more of the mold that a lot of people are like going, oh, well, it's already July, it's, August, and it's too late to plant a new one. Pa! You can plant a new one. There's still time to actually get a full growth out, even in August, before October, November rolls around, when they're probably going to stop growing as fast. And cilantro is one that I don't overwinter, but I can easily replant this another time or two and get another full round out of it. There's no problem with that at all. I'm gonna have a little bit more. Very good. Since it's here, wow. You guys do that too? You just pull a little bit off and just nom 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 nom. It's good stuff. Good to see food, forest, permaculture in the house, and backyard gardener. A couple of awesome channels. If you don't know them, you can check them out too. Well, we're still going for a while here. We're moving right along. I'm almost halfway down my list already. Woohoo! But yeah, it's obviously Geeky knows all about it, because when you get into this, the hot time of year, the cilantro especially really likes to bolt fast. Once it feels the heat, it's like, whoa, okay, flowering, I'm done. Grazing in the garden is one of your favorite pastimes. Excellent. Good way to go. And I've been experimenting with drawing my guys out a little bit more in order to avoiding the pests this year. So even though it's really hot, what I've done in the past is, when it's super hot, is I tend to water them every day. And I'm trying to go, okay, even though it's super hot, I'm going to try and go water 5 times a week, and say 3 days on, 1 day off, 2 days on, 1 day off, and try and dry them out a little bit more, cause a little bit more stress, and hopefully get a little bit more growth out of them, and as well, less bugs. Because I was looking again at my anthurium, and I was thinking, this isn't actually a nitrogen problem, because nitrogen is usually when you see it on the leaves. Let's bring him over here. So usually when you see a problem on the leaves is if the yellowing is on the outside. So you see this one here is turning very yellow. If the yellowing's on the outside here, that usually is more of a nitrogen indicator. But when it's like this, and it's a little more on the inside, they say that could be just an overwatering thing. And because I've been having so many bug problems, in particular with the anthurium, I figured, okay, let's do an even heavier cycle with him, with only watering him a couple times a week, and see if that does okay for him. So we'll see how that works out. So far, I'm actually thinking it is doing well because I am not seeing any aphids at the moment, which is a great thing. Last week when I showed this guy, he actually did have some aphids on there still. Um, yeah, looking pretty good. I know there's still been some hiding around because if you look at some of these new leaves on here, they're a little bit malformed. This one in particular, a little bit odd, and that one too. See how it's a little bit of a weird structure? That's because of the aphids that have been attacking them. And you'll see on some of the mottled leaves that are on the inside too, it's also because the aphids have been getting them. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to try even harder and just go for the old-fashioned method of drying them out a little bit and see if, and because that in itself is supposed to help kill off those aphids. And as I've got a nice layer here of diatomaceous earth on them, hopefully they won't be able to come up anymore. We'll see how that works. While you're here, if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do. Like button. I'm going to go put the anthurium back real quick. Here we go. Anthurium going home. Hooah! Okay. What's next? Oh, yeah. Little yellow basil leaf. It's Eric Eating Herbs Day. Exciting. I want to talk about the ones that are outside a little bit more. They're all doing really good. I could step off again and go show you some of them, but I'm really happy with most of them. The nice thing about the ones outside is we've been getting a lot of rain this week, so they've been getting a ton of rainwater, and that's really, I think, helped them out a lot. Just like 2 weeks ago, I think maybe 2.5, we had a super deluge for here in Guilford, at least. Very, very atypical, heavy rain. And is that how it is? It's atypical, non-typical. Kind of, and it really just loaded them up. And it was fantastic. I didn't water them for a couple days after because they were just soaked. But yeah, they love that, and they've all grown really well since then. I have my big old pot that I put some rosemary in, but it's very odd because I have one stem that's coming out of there, and it doesn't look like rosemary. I'm wondering if the variety I got is just a different type, and it actually is going to be more rosemary. But I'm like looking at them, I go, this doesn't look like rosemary. Did one of the birds bring a seed up in here? And it's not like a typical weed seed either. So I'm like very interested to see what happens with this, because it doesn't look like a typical rosemary at all right now. And I'll show you some footage of that soon. But yeah, it's very, very surprising looking at that and going, huh, that's unexpected. Nice to see you, Stan Mac. How you doing? Good up, fellow tea sippers. Woohoo! Well, what else is going on up there? My chocolate mint's doing really good. I just had some of that the other day in a tea, tasting fantastic. And I've got a couple of sweet basils out there. I think one of my Italian basils is out there. One of them's inside, and they're both looking good. And then I also have the spearmint is outside, but the peppermint is inside. It's just how it worked out for spacing. And what I'm trying to do is keep them out of the light a little bit more, because this guy here especially, the leaves have been getting a little bit, you could tell, heat stroked. So I've been trying to be like, okay, maybe I can push him back out of the light a little bit more, because he's like, too much light. Yeah, and they definitely still like the light, but they also don't like too much direct light, because it does kind of burn their leaves. But as far as the ones outside, besides the aloe vera getting attacked yesterday, it just happened yesterday too, so I was very much like for a little bit. Hi, Tea with Jen, how you doing? So Tea with Jen I was just talking to her, but she was having some trouble with her basil, and what I was saying just generally to her was that what happened is basil likes to have some moist soil. So you can generally water it most every day, but even with them, you can give it a day off. And then if it just looks a little bit wilty, then you want to give it a little bit of water. Or if you put your finger in the soil, or if have you a soil measurer and you can tell that it's getting too dry, you give it a little bit of water. But generally, you want to keep the soil reasonably moist, not too moist or the bugs come. And you can give it a lot of light. I mean, they generally can get 8 hours of sunlight a day, or if you have a grow light, 10 hours to 12 hours of sunlight a day. And but again, it's kind of like the peppermint. You don't want too much direct sunlight or too much heat, because once you start getting over that, 30 degrees Celsius, 80 degrees Fahrenheit mark, they start going, okay, it's just a little bit too much. I'm an indoor, 72 room temperature kind of guy. So you want to keep it in that more just comfortable heat range in order for it to be happy and not too much direct sunlight. So hopefully, Tea with Jen, that helps you out. If you have any other questions, you let me know and we'll see what we can figure out. But speaking of which, I just did a post on a Instagram today about my new teas that I got in. Ooh, I'm really excited about these because there's a couple I've been really wanting to try out. First off, we got the rose petals. Now, these are from the UK Loose Leaf Tea Company here in the United Kingdom, if anybody wants to check them out. And these guys are, nice natural local tea company. Most of it looks like EU sourced here. So local stuff. And what was I going to say? Oh, first off, if you haven't seen the benefits of rose tea, that's why we got a monster bag, because it's really good stuff. Yes, go check out my video on the benefits of rose tea, because lots of good stuff. Rose tea in particular, a lot of people don't realize is one that's been used for like thousands of years for colds and flu symptoms. And they're, depending on the experts, they generally say, you could have up to 5 to 6 cups of it a day, and you're still fine. But they generally say at least have a couple cups a day in the early spring to help fend off any possible colds. So, yeah, but it's got lots of other great benefits. Check out the video. You won't be disappointed. And good to see you. Welcome to Chickenlandia. Love that girl. She's one of my soul sisters. She's got a sense of humor like mine. I love her. Missy Dell, welcome to the house. Yes, rose petal tea blends. It's a very nice one. I like blending it in with other things because I find it by itself just a little too light, and I'm a strong tea kind of guy. Even when it comes to herbs, I tend to let them brew like twice as long as most people do. So most people, they go, oh, it's just 5 to 7 minutes for this. And I go, 14 minutes, baby. I'm going to go longer. So, yeah, I tend to be like, the stronger, the better for a lot of my teas. Of course, there's certain guidelines I still obey. There's certain teas you can't go too long on. But let's get back to more of what I have here. Now, I got some lemon verbena, because I had asked some questions on my tea Facebook group about some different teas that people liked, and I had heard about it before, but I was like going, oh yeah, I kind of forgot about that one. So let me grab some more of that and check it out. So, and of course we got some new lavender. Lavender is wonderful. That's going to be my next series of history, mythology, and benefits videos right after I'm done with this one on the history, mythology, and benefits of dandelions. Oh yeah, baby, I'm going to blow your minds about dandelions, baby. So much cool information coming your way. Starting this week on Sunday, history of dandelions coming just for you. Woo! Yeah. You just got some lemon verbena for your chickens? Sweet. Oh, yeah, welcome to Chickenlandia. Her dog apparently terrorized her chicken's herb garden earlier this week. So I'm gonna. Did you do a video on that? I haven't seen it if you did yet, so I'll have to check that out. Yeah, we got the history of dandelions coming up this week. I got dandelion leaf. I got dandelion root. because both of them are great in teas. And I also got dandelion coffee. Yeah, dandelion coffee. So I was really excited to try this one as a substitute, because in one of the videos you'll see I talk about how it actually has been used as a coffee substitute for lots of different years. In fact, there was a big one when they didn't have as much coffee to go during the Civil War, and a lot of the Civil War soldiers would use it back then because it was easier to source than regular coffee during the time. So yeah, lots of amazing facts about those things coming your way. Look out for those videos. And yeah, dandelion coffee is supposed to be like slightly more bitter than regular coffee. So I'm really interested to see what I think about it as far as that's concerned. So we'll definitely have to see. Oh, so you drink dandelion coffee already. Welcome to Chickenlandia says. And you have it with chia, and it tastes like boba tea. I haven't had boba tea, so I'm not even sure what that reference is. What does boba tea taste like? Is that like bubble tea, or is it just, what is boba tea? Is it Boba Fett tea? Maybe. Well, so yeah, that's my new tea haul. And oh yeah, I was gonna like bust one of these out here for the video and actually have some, but I totally forgot to make some. You want to? But my wife's gonna go make some for me here. You want to do the leaf? Sweet. We are going to do a on the moment dandelion leaf tea review. What? Coming in 5 to 10 minutes, however long it takes. So I haven't had boba tea either, but it tastes like I didn't imagine it. Okay, then. That's fair enough. But yeah, that's the major update on what's going on with the old herb garden and the flowers that are hiding around here. Lots of wonderful things happening. But the other fun thing I wanted to talk about today is I don't do this very often on my channel because I like to keep the focus on my channel on the particular categories it's based around, which is the history, mythology, and of course benefits of plants and herbs. So I try and talk about just that as much as possible, and of course that includes the teas. And I'm going to be doing that a little bit more specifically here in the future when I talk about the benefits. I'm going to try and either separate them out rather than do these monster videos like I did with peppermint and spearmint. Hi, Denise. How you doing? Denise is Orchid Paradise in the house. If you like orchids, go check out her channel. She's got a plethora of wonderful, beautiful orchids. Yeah, I did my peppermint video and spearmint video and just lumped all of the benefits together. So it's like, if you want to know about every single benefit that you can get from those particular herbs, check out those videos and you will not be disappointed. But I wanted to start doing it where I'm a bit more specific with the videos. So if I do talk about the other aspects, I'll make it separate videos. So it'll be dandelion tea. Actually, for the dandelion, I did the same thing. I already recorded it before I made this decision. So I'm doing just a general dandelion benefits. But for the next ones, it's going to be lavender tea benefits. And then maybe I'll do a lavender oil benefits or just lavender leaf benefits video, all separate, all their own videos. So people, because I know people like to be like, okay, I just want to find out about this specific thing. And to go in and be like, all these benefits. Oh, I was just asking about the oil. Oh, what do I do? So trying to just be a bit more specific for those things. But the other thing I was wanting to talk about today, like I said, was my acting world. And I don't know if any of you saw the link at the top of the page. So you could see all of the things that I have done so far as my film career is concerned. Lots of different things. I'll post it again here real quick. That's my IMDb page if you want to take a quick look. And so if you have any specific questions you want to ask about any of the acting projects I've been on. But I figured for once I would open up that little can of worms and talk about my little life as an actor. And that's actually what brought me over here to the UK in the first place anyways, was I actually started acting when I was 27. And got to it later in life. I tried out for like one play when I was in high school, and it uh, didn't work out. They didn't, and I found the acting group there very cliquey, and so I didn't really join in any of their reindeer games, and went on my own little Rudolphy way. So I kind of forgot about it and disappeared away from it for a long time because I had really low self confidence when I was younger, and for the longest time I was kind of just floating around in the wind, not knowing what the heck to do with myself or what I really wanted to do with myself. And in that sense, I envy people who figure it out when they're like at 5 years old and like, I am going to be an actor, and then they follow it for the rest of their lives, or I am going to be a fireman and follow that for the rest of their lives. And that's brilliant, but everybody's life plan is different, and this is the way mine went. And I'm totally cool with that now at this point in my life. I'm completely happy with that. And so yeah, I was 27 up in Anchorage, Alaska, and it started doing film and theater reviews again. And what um, and that's what basically got me back into actually acting, was because the paper I was doing it for, the Anchorage Press, it ended up having they have a section in there where they had auditions for various shows in town, and I saw one for the University of Alaska Anchorage about Medea and Jason, that old Greek myth, and they were doing it in a kabuki and no style of dance production. So I was like going, that sounds cool and different. So wow, why don't I try out for that? And I got into it and got the role of Jason, and yeah, it was kind of history from there. I was like going, this is cool. I'm going to go back to school for this and finish off my bachelor's. And after I did that, I went down to Florida, Gainesville, the Gators down there. I didn't actually go to the University of Florida. I went to the Hippodrome State Theater, where I did an internship, and that was actually primarily more for sound and directing, because I sound designed their shows, a lot of their shows for that year, and I also did directing of a show in a series of shorts that they had done there as well. And it was a lot of fun. And then I came back up and just started acting and sound designing and then directing every year, once I moved back up to Alaska in what was then 2001, right in that area. And basically worked in the Anchorage theater scene for, I guess, almost 10 years before moving over here, and did a truckload of different theater productions. And just slowly built myself up. I ended up, at the moment, including the ones I've done over here, I've sound designed over like 75 shows, and I've directed like 5 full-length projects along with a bunch of different shorts, mostly for stage, not too much for film. And I've done more and more acting. Thank you, Love Surf Bunny. Glad to see you're still around. I'm glad to see everybody who's still here. Yeah, I know we got lots of people on the channel. I really appreciate you all being here. If you haven't done so already, there's a like button right down there. That's what you do. It's a clicky. Anyways, where was I? Back in, yeah, so I did a truckload of really good projects. Hi, Carrie L, good to see you. And yeah, I was enjoying my life and enjoying how things were going. But it's Anchorage, Alaska. So even though some projects were paid, most of, a lot of it necessarily wasn't paid very much. It's not like stuff you could live off of. I still had a full-time job besides doing all these acting projects. And, there's only so much you can, long you can do that before you either have to say, okay, do I leave here and go to one of the major epicenters or one of the semi-epicenters of acting and film, or do I stay here and just be happy being, a big fish in a small pond, which is essentially what you are in a place like Anchorage. And, while I really was enjoying my life, it worked out really well because I ended up meeting my wife through a production. We did You Can't Take It With You together. the stage version, which I think is actually a little bit better than the film version with Jimmy Stewart, if anybody has seen that. Uh, but it's a really cool one to see if you haven't seen that movie, because it has the guy who plays Mr. Potter as a nice guy, and it just shows you how good of an actor he is, and that he plays Mr. Potter as this total horrible guy, and he plays Mr. Sycamore in You Can't Take It With You, and is a really cool nice guy. So it's a fun contrast. But yeah, we met during that, and we got to a point where she was like going, I want to leave. And I'm like, cool, where do you want to go? And we thought, LA? We don't really like LA that much. We got some friends there, but New York, she had been to New York and I really hadn't. And it's like, okay, it's kind of a possibility. But she's like, well, I did this part of my schooling over in London and loved it, and we have the opportunity to go there. Why don't we try that? And so we're like, sure, let's do it. And that's what brought me over here. And so we came over here, oddly enough, on September 11th of 2011. So on the 10-year anniversary, we flew over here. Fun little tidbit, yay. And I ended up going to the Guilford School of Acting here in Guilford, and we just loved the town so much, we ended up staying, and we've been here ever since. And we may very well move out of the town very soon, because we are looking at moving to get a bigger place, because I want a garden. I know lots of you, my garden friends out there, have actual gardens, and while I love my indoor garden, I want a real bigger garden so I can make super herbs, not just mini herbs. I want super herbs, and I want some extra vegetables and other fun things, maybe some flowers. But yeah, a bigger space for more adventure in the herb and plant world. And then we, of course, the other big thing is we can't really have a pet here. We're not allowed, so we want to get a pet as well. Yep. So yeah, Chickenlandia, you wouldn't be able to have any chickens in this place. Sorry. Let alone anything else, unfortunately. So yeah, there's several things that we want that we can't have here. So we're like going, we got to move. We got to get out of here. And yes, we're now very much going, okay, let's start looking hardcore now that the regulations are starting to loosen up on COVID, and start looking around. So hopefully soon we'll be moving, and we'll be starting to do some videos from a new location. Woo! But anyways, back to the acting world, if y'all are enjoying that story. Once I came over here, I did a 1-year master's, because I didn't want to go back, particularly at this age in my life. When I came over here, I was already 40. So coming over at this age of my life, I was like, okay, I don't want to do another 3 years. I want to just do a master's for the sake of give me a reason to come over, for one, and two, for being able to have that university degree that A, gives me credentials in the industry, and B, allows me to teach at a professional level, and have people respect my credentials. So yeah, that was the main reasons, is that it gave me a chance that if I wanted to, I could end up going back to the States and teaching at a university level, or also I get a lot more respect for doing private tutoring and different things like that, or even get a lot of respect out of casting directors over here, because I have a degree from a very respectable British institution, and they like having those respectable degrees over here. So as do the United States, same thing. But yeah, it was I think very much helped me moving along in my career over here. And yeah, I mean, since coming over, I've slowly built up my credits. It did help before I came over that they had a film bill in Alaska for a little while. And so I was able to do a couple of projects back in Alaska before I came over. And, not like they were like huge monster names, but I did get to do, Baby Geniuses 3. But not that it was a monster name, but it was great because it actually gave me a couple of full scenes in a full-length production of a movie, and that had John Voight in it. So I actually got to meet John Voight on set in one of my first big projects, which was nice. but yeah, just different things like that where you actually get to work with professional actors before even coming over here, which was a nice little jump off credit to have. And I started off doing a little bit more of extra work over here, and that's like the background actors that you see in most films that don't have lines and are just doing things like hanging at the coffee place or whatever else, or being soldiers, uh, all these different kinds of things. And because of that, I got like a couple of small credits, where you'd get one or two lines maybe, or you'd get a little bit of screen time. And eventually, as I started getting more and more and better auditions, I gave that up and have hence stopped doing the extra work altogether. And now I'm just doing nothing but regular acting work when I get it. Obviously, it's a little slow right now with COVID going on. But yeah, I mean, I jumped off from one big project to another slowly but surely. Um, and the first couple I started off with were just some smaller ones. That Mrs. Marple movie I did in 2013. I had some of the hardest lines I've ever done, because they gave me like what this was, this old English text. So basically doing this funeral text of being like, "Oh ye who art in this heavens," and it's just like, it's all such kind of like reading, backwards Latin, and trying to stick that into your mind is like, I do not understand this at all. So that was like very difficult, very funny, very, very funny to one to try and pull off. Though, ended up having the Bible in my hand and having the lines there just in case I forgot them. Yes. Besides being the amazing announcer for the Welcome to Chickenlandia podcast, if you haven't seen that yet, please do. She's wonderful. Well, besides being her opening and closing credits announcer, what is my favorite gig that I've done? Um, and I think it falls into a couple categories for me with that, as far as favorite gig, because there's like career highlight gigs that are like much smaller parts, and then there's ones where like I had a much bigger part in an independent film that was like just awesome to really be able to dig my teeth into a great character and enjoy it. So like The Toy Maker, which was an independent film that I did, and it was a great character that the director gave me a lot of range to actually rewrite some of the scenes. And like there's certain moments where some of the dialogue, like if you ever see The Toy Maker, it's a little bit slow paced, but um, if you ever have the feeling to go see it, check it out. But there's one scene where I have this really big monologue, and like half that monologue is really my own writing, because he was just awesome that way, and he gave me a lot of range in his films that if it didn't feel right for the character, that I could change it. And so that was like a wonderful project where not only did I get a chance to really do what I wanted with the character, but I could even rewrite some of the lines and really make the character my own. And because of it, yeah, I really had a ball with that project. And I love that director anyway, Andrew Jones. He's done tons of stuff over here now as an independent director. And if you like independent horror, go check out some of his stuff. He does a ton of films. But yeah, and in my show reel, I have that's one of the scenes from The Toy Maker in there. If you've seen my show reel, I need to update my IMDb, which I sent you the link for with the new show reel, but it's on my website as well. But other than that, I mean, a big career highlight is definitely one of the last ones, which is Doctor Who, because I was a Doctor Who fan for a long time before coming over here, and loved the whole new series that they've done for the last 13 years now. And I wasn't as much of a fan of the old series because it was a little bit slower paced, but I like the goofy doctors the most. So I'm a big fan of Matt Smith and David Tennant, and big fan of forgetting his name. He's got the monster scarf. That guy. But yeah, Doctor Who was definitely one of those ones where I was like, "Oh, if I can get on Doctor Who, that would be fabulous." And yeah, not only was that was a fun one because when I did it, I was auditioning for a different part. Which, if you see my episode with the Nikola Tesla episode, which is just in this last season of Doctor Who, season 13. Um, she the scene that I actually auditioned for is at the very beginning, and you barely see them, and it's one little scene, and they're before you blink, they're gone right at the beginning of the show. And when I was at the audition, the casting director, wonderful guy, Andy Pryor, he given and said, "Oh, can you read for this as well?" And then like looked it over, and then I did it, and that's the part I ended up getting, and it was a much bigger part, and I thought very cool in the fact that I got to get killed twice. So one of the few people who can claim that on Doctor Who. So so yeah, that was a lot of fun being able to go out and do that, and I really enjoyed that. We have the tea. We're going to take a tea break. Here we go. This is the dandelion leaf tea. Okay. Ooh. Hi, Misha Lee. Good to see you. We're about to do the first official review of dandelion leaf tea. This is the first time I've ever had dandelion leaf tea. Here we go. Mm. All right. Okay. Yeah, this is good stuff. Still a little bit hot, so I need to let it chill out a little bit to really get the full taste of it. Hmm. Yeah, this one's nice because it's one of those ones, kind of like stevia or even the mints, that it has a natural sweetness to it, and there's a nice little taste of yeah, a sweet flavor to it there. I think I'd say. Yeah, my wife says it reminds her of chamomile, and yeah, I'd say if we just had straight chamomile, I could definitely see that. But I could definitely see myself putting this with some mint or chamomile and having a nice blend. But yeah, it's definitely a very, very nice tea. Mm. So dandelion, welcome to Chickenlandia. Just asked, is it the liver or kidneys that dandelion is good for? And it's primarily the liver. A lot of it's because of it's a diuretic. But there's there's some other reasons as well, and I talk about those in my benefits video, which is coming out the week after this on Sunday. But yeah, the liver is its primary one. There's also a couple other ones. I think they say it's also possibly good for the kidneys and a couple other internal organs that I mentioned. But liver really is the primary one that it's good for. But it's lots of other things that it's good for: UTIs, other digestive problems. It's actually also supposed to help with burning fat and weight loss. So even more so than some of the ones I've talked about previously. I talked about how it's a little wishy-washy in the peppermint video with how it is good for weight loss. But there's a lot more information that says dandelion actually has some good information about how it actually helps with the metabolism and does help with helping you burn fat as well. So high-powered stuff here. Mm. Yeah, very nice. Let that chill out a little bit more. Mm. More was I? Yeah, you guys have any other questions about the acting career? Since we're talking about that at the moment, having some fun going into the other world of my life. What I do when I'm not doing my channel. But that was yeah. Did you brew the flowers yourself? No, we just bought them. You weren't here when we talked about that. I got them all from the UK Loose Leaf Tea Company, and I got some dandelion coffee, some dandelion root, and I also got some dandelion leaf. I got all three. So, oh gosh, it's actually the really cool thing at this point now that I've actually met quite a few celebrities. Welcome to Chickenlandia. Just asked my favorite celebrity I've met, and I haven't had a chance to like really sit down and talk to a lot of them, but I have met quite a few of them, and luckily a lot of them have been really nice. And you know, it's always sad when you like get one and you're like, oh, they're not that nice of a person. But I remember back when I did Red 2, I got to meet Anthony Hopkins very briefly, and he was a wonderful gentleman, really nice guy. And let me see, I think most recently, the one I got the chance to talk to for a little bit was Eddie Redmayne when I did Fantastic Beasts, because we had a one in particularly long break in between a couple of the setups, and we went off and sat in some chairs off the side and got a chance to talk to him, and just a lovely story that he had, and so he he was talking about how he had just done like what was it? Of course, he had just done Les Mis, and he had just done the cross-dressing one or the sex change one. I'm forgetting the name of it. Was it Danish Girl? I was buzzing the name of it. Yeah, he just done the Danish Girl, which he was Oscar nominated for, and he also, I think, had just done the Stephen Hawking one as well, The Theory of Everything. And so he'd come off of these really heavy, serious, Oscar-wrenching, projects, and he was like going, "Oh gosh, now I'm doing Fantastic Beasts, this huge Harry Potter franchise," and he was talking about how he was nervous about it. And he was saying his wife had told him, "It's like, look, you've just done these monster, crazy projects. This is your cake. This is your dessert. Go out there and enjoy it and love it." And it's like such a good way to put it, where it's like, yes, this is Harry Potter, and this is yes, there's a certain amount of pressure to live up to that standard, but at the same time, it's like going, this is a fun character that for you to just go out there and enjoy and love. And but it's just goes to show, even after I'm doing these monster projects, how doesn't matter how big a star you are, you can still get nervous. You're still human. You can still have those thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be terrible in this. Yeah. Welcome to Chickenlandia says she used to be a personal assistant and met some terrible people and some super nice ones. And there's just, yeah, it's the way it is. There are some terrible ones out there. And sometimes it's not so much that they're terrible. Sometimes it's you just catch them on a bad day. And it's something to come to realize as to why they have the whole trailer system. And my wife likes to talk about this a lot. And and it's why, you think it's snobbery, but it's not. I think it's a matter of self-protection, that a reason why people are like going, I'm going to go back in my trailer, because the emotional weight it takes to put some of those scenes out there, when you have one of those emotional gushing scenes when you're crying or being really wrenched, around, you need to be in a certain frame of mind to be able to pull that off. And if someone is just messing with you or taking you out of that, it's easy just to get snippy with them and jump on somebody even when you don't mean to, because you're really having a hard time trying to keep that focus. So I understand why somebody's like, "Oh no, I need to just stay in my own space and do this character right." And I think that's part of the cause of why things happen that way sometimes, is people just are people, and they need their room in order to create that magic to make it happen. So take things with a grain of salt with some of the actors you've heard about out there. Some of them are true. I'm not going to badmouth anybody in particular. So I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm really happy and blessed with the jobs I've had, and I really love the career I've had so far. And once COVID ends, I'm hoping we can just start rolling things along again and get some great projects and meet more wonderful people out there. And yeah, I really loved what I've done so far over here. Yeah, that is the downfall. B Townsend from Vintage Tips and Tricks is here, and if you haven't checked her out of her channel and you like vintage clothing or anything along those lines at all, check her out. She's awesome. But there is that aspect of celebrity, which is why as an actor, you should never aspire for fame, because fame is its own crazy beast, and it basically is its own monster, which doesn't let you be the actor you want to be anymore. It makes you have to be this ideal for people, and it's not not anything I want to be. All I've ever aspired to is being that really cool guy who you see in a lot of stuff, and you're like going, "Oh, I like him." And then you're like going, "Oh, that's his name. That's right. Of course it's him. Yeah, I've seen him in this and this and this." That's all I really want, is I just want to really be that good working actor that you see and you're like, "Oh, I love him. He's great." I kind of like Bruce Underwood is one guy who's like that. David Keith, I think, is another one. Just the ones who you may not know the name off the top, but if you Google them, you'll probably be like going, "Oh yeah, I've seen him in lots of different things." And I always like his work. And yeah, so something along like that. That's all I'm looking for as an actor for my career, is like going, just get me in lots of really cool projects that I'm happy to just keep working along in, and that's it. So, Welcome to Chickenlandia says, from what I've observed, it's really hard for them to know who to trust. Yeah, because there's always people once you're famous, or yeah, like it's like the same problem. Like if somebody has won the lottery or something, that all of a sudden people are going to come out of the woodwork and want to, glom on some of your money or glom onto your fame. It's the same kind of thing. So, yeah, it's so tough for when you get to that level, people just wanting to just siphon off some of your glory, I guess. Hmm. Who's this cool guy on the stream? It's Roopster7060. That's who it is. Yeah, 760. Good to see you. He's a badass pool player, amongst other things. Good to see you, Roopster. Hopefully the tournaments will be starting up again soon for you. Yeah, baby. Woo! And yeah, anything else what I've done? Let me see here. Oh, it was something that's happened a couple of times, and it's just part of the career of as you're coming up and coming along is you end up on the cutting room floor a lot, which means you shoot scenes or you shoot footage which is like really good, and you're like going, oh my god, that's gonna be so awesome when it comes out in the movie, and then you see the movie and you're not there, and which is why a lot of times when you with a movie you like don't tell people you're in it and you just let them go, oh my god, I just found you in this, because sometimes you're like going, I don't know if I'm going to make the cut. So, which is what's nice when you get a project like the Doctor Who one, where it's like going, well, there's no way they can cut me out of this because the character is very integral to the story, so there's no way they can cut it. And you're like going, okay, I know I'm going to be there, so I can tell people about it. But when it came to ones like the Muppets one that I did way back when with Muppets Most Wanted, it was one where I was like, going, oh my god, I got this great little moment in there and this great little cameo. And then it was pretty much almost all cut out, where they had this one wonderful swooping crane shot where they came right into my face and past me as I was playing a security guard. And yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, here's the crane shot. You see a security guard in the dark, and it's done. And that's what happens. Has happened with a few of my projects, like Spectre with the James Bond film, where if you look at the monster table in Spectre, where Christopher Waltz's character first gets introduced, I'm the guy right at the top of the table to the right, across from the guy, the black gentleman, awesome guy. He was actually Belgian, but he was doing an African accent in the show. But what they did was they decided to just compile everything. So actually, all the lines he had were my lines and his lines, because they decided to just have one person do all of the lines. So I lost my lines to him, and then I also lost my footage as well. So basically, you just see me. There's blurry me. There's blurry me. That was funny. I almost lost my wedding ring on Spectre as well. Because in the show, I had my Spectre ring over here, and I had my wedding ring on an off finger. And during one of the scenes, I went and grabbed a bottle of water, and it fell off into the bag of water. And so I went, during in between scenes, I went and looked all around. I'm like, where could it be? Where could it be? Oh my god, my wedding ring! And luckily, I went back and looked at the bag of the water where they had it, and it was hiding in that bag still. So I was just like, oh, thank God. Thank God. So yeah, it ended up being a stressful day on the James Bond set. So B says, do you think generally loving the job is a big part of helping accept the aspect of ending up on the cutting room floor rather than wanting fame or attention? I think it's very much loving the job, and I think it's also that it's just like, auditions, that as an actor you have to get used to that aspect. They call it rejection, but you have to reform the whole thing. Just like even here on YouTube, you don't consider having low views or putting out videos and having nobody watch them as a rejection. You consider it as part of your learning process. You consider it as, okay, I'm doing this in order to get seen and get better. And the more I do it, the better I'm going to get. And the more I'm going to have out there that people have know that I work good. They know that they can respect me, and they know they can trust what I do. That even if it gets put on the cutting room floor, now that director knows that I do quality work. Now that casting director knows I do quality work. And it's the same thing here. It's like the more you do that work, the better you get, the better your footage is. The more that people engage with it and like it, and then the next thing you know, you just create momentum and you start getting better jobs and higher quality jobs and more jobs. So yeah, I think it's just a matter of that from zero to Homestead. Nice to see you. How you doing? Yeah, my wife would definitely not be happy with me losing her ring, but I had an up on her because she had already lost her engagement ring before that. So if I had lost mine, it would have been like, well, we're kind of even. so, so, yeah, it would have been bad, but I probably would have just went back to the same ring maker and say, hey, remake me another one. So, but yeah, yes, my notorious evil laugh. You get to see why I play evil characters a lot. So, yes, you're never even where the wife is concerned. Good one, Geeky. I like that. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. I do recommend the dandelion leaf tea. Very good stuff. Oh, so yeah, it is the funny thing about coming in here with the COVID and everything. Was that I had just come off of doing Secret Cinema Stranger Things, where I played Mayor Klein, who in this series, if you haven't seen it yet, season 3, Mayor Klein is played by Carrie Elwes. Awesome. So I got to play his character in the immersive theater show that we did here for about 6 months up in London. And I had just come off of that, and we had just had the Doctor Who release, and we're like, great, I got these wonderful credits, I got momentum, casting directors, here we are, it's lockdown. So now that we're in that holding pattern, it's like going, okay, hopefully as soon as lockdown's done, it'll kind of be like I'm sitting here doing this, and then as soon as lockdown is officially done and all the acting projects and film projects are going again, it'll be like, off we go, and we'll get some other really good projects to talk about. So that's kind of my hope and feeling is like, okay, the credits are there still. They still got to respect them, and just got to stay putting myself out there into the light. And that's kind of the reason I love doing this channel is it keeps me engaged with doing various aspects of my acting life, which is I get to do pretty much everything I love doing as an actor. So I get to act on camera, I get to do script writing, I get to direct, I get to edit. So I do all of my own stuff, obviously. So I get to do all of those things, and I enjoy all of them, which is why I love doing these videos. So welcome to Chickenlandia says her husband is slowly starting to work as well, and I have started getting some auditions myself as well again. So it is starting to open up. I mean, the ones I've auditioned for mostly saying we're going to start filming probably in September, October. So yeah, but as long as the auditions start coming, the jobs will start coming again. Then we'll get back up there again. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of how much this may slow down the momentum for me and things. So, but yeah, so far my career arc has gone as well as I could hope, or even a little bit better than I could hope, I would say, for having come over here and starting from zero, basically having no contacts in the industry, no connections to anybody, which of course makes it much easier. As much as you want to naysay it, some people may want to naysay that. Having connections is all what the industry is about. So if you already have those set up and established, more power to you. Congratulations. You got a leg up on a lot of people. But if you don't, it doesn't mean you can't have a great career. Half of the acting industry is, they say, they're all just so difficult, and there's so many people out there, and it's like, Yeah, that's very much true in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, half to 75% of the competition is eliminated just by going out and doing the basics good each and every time. And I'd say that's true even for here on YouTube. If you do the basics by going out there as an actor and knowing your lines and knowing how to take direction and being a good person on set and being easy to work with and just going out there and nailing each and every take very easily, that this fast you're going to get a reputation for being a solid actor that people want to work with, and you're going to get rehired a lot. So, and it's the same thing here. If you go out and you put quality content out that looks good and sounds good, that's why I got the sexy mic out today. And then has engaging quality to it and good editing, and has all those things that people like seeing. You're going to eventually get lots of people watching your videos and lots of subscribers, just because that's just the way things work. The more you do something, most of the competition is eliminated by perseverance. So one is just being disciplined. One's perseverance. Yeah, you give value and you get value out of it. Exactly. Welcome to Chickenlandia. She knows. And and it's not hard. It's like when you put your love into something, and that shows through on a project. I can't be sitting there talking and be faking things about my life and have you be wanting to engage with that. And it's the same thing with my videos. It's like I couldn't be doing that and be doing it in a phony way and have you want to engage with it. I got to put it out there the way that feels right to me. And some people are going to engage with that more than others, but they're going to know that I'm honestly being what I want to be. And that's what matters. Is more people are going to engage with you if you're just being your true self. And that's the hardest thing, I think, for people in life, is especially with the kind of caste system you have created with the education system, that creates cliques and creates groups from an early age, that it's so easy for kids to think they have to become something else. And it's so easy for people to think they have to be this other thing other than who they really are, and or just expressing the things they want to express. So it's like, oh, people aren't gonna want to hear contents about herbs or the history of herbs. Who would want that? If I said that, I wouldn't be here. Or if any of you guys out there with your channels, B was like going, oh, people aren't going to want to hear stuff about old clothes or old vintage stuff, then she wouldn't be the awesome channel she is today, And yeah, welcome to Chickenlandia. Same thing, she had said, oh, who wants to hear about a hometown chicken expert from Portland? Then yeah, you have to put that aside and be like, no, people engage with real people, and it's part of the reason YouTube is so huge right now, and it's actually become a big part of the industry. Is that, and I think it's part of the reason also reality TV is done good, is that people like seeing real, honest to goodness reactions happening from people, and that's why like certain projects win Oscars as well, is that people feel more engaged with the reality of it. And there's lots of projects out there that subvert that reality and are still wonderful and fine. The more people engaged with just honest, real people with who they are. You maybe even like watch stuff that you don't like sewing videos or something that may not be completely your bag, like me, and go out there and go, I'm enjoying this because this personality loves their stuff, and I'm interested in seeing them enjoy their stuff, But yeah, pretty cool. Hey, I've gone over an hour here, so if you guys have any other questions in particular for me, feel free. Otherwise, I think I might just wrap it up here. We've gotten to a good point, generally I like to only go to about an hour with my live streams, and my throat gets a little too tired, and I start getting a little bit too warm because I've turned off the fan. So, but I've been having a ball here with you guys. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for being here today. Please come by Sunday and join me for my premiere of the history of dandelions. It's not up as far as the official time yet, because I'm putting the finishing touches on the video. But as soon as I do, you'll hopefully get a notification if you have the bell notification on, and you will know when I'm releasing that video. But it's going to be this Sunday, and probably a little bit earlier than later. That's part of the reason I did the live stream at this time, was because it said more of you wonderful people would be on to engage with it. And seems like it's true so far. I've got lots of amazing people here today, like Mike's Hobbies. Welcome to the house, Mike's Hobbies. Nice to see you here. And Misha Lee came by. Thank you so much for being here, Misha. So yeah, all you wonderful people have been here today. I really appreciate it. It's been a ton of fun. Hope you enjoyed me talking about my acting life and my usual bits about, of course, what the channel is really meant to be talking about, which is my herbs and flowers and plants. But yeah, that's going to wrap us up today, unless you guys have another question. I don't see anything. Nope. All right. You guys take care. I'm going to hit this button which says end stream and see what happens. If it lets me even actually hit the end stream button. I'm hitting it and nothing is happening. I'm still here. Hi, how are you? Maybe eventually I can end the stream. Oh, there it is. All right. Bye. And then the button disappeared. This is not working out. I started the video well, but now it's not letting me end the video. You get a couple more seconds of me dancing around.